Hello, Stephanie, I assume.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. All right. Um, we're gonna start anyways. Ola is one of the BASI faculty teachers. We've worked a lot together on I don't know how many math teacher training courses already in retreat format, and she will be teaching one of the courses next year. Uh, little bit about me. I'm Mareile Paley. I'm the founder and owner of Life in Movement. So I've been working with Basi Pilates for many, many years, since 2019, hosting the Basi Pilates mat teacher training in a retreat format. And now, for the first time next year, finally, we can offer the mat and reformer teacher training course. I assume you are here because you want to know more, because I have not had the time to put everything together on the website because it's a new program. Um, so I thought, and there was a lot of interest in that course. So I thought I'll put together these two Zoom sessions for all of you to answer your questions. And then I have the registration link already. We got a whole bunch of signups from last week already, but we still have spots. Plus, we are doing 3 mat and reformer teacher training retreats next year. So there should be hopefully space for everybody. Um, Maybe instead of me outlining the course, because that's what I did in the last recording, which I can also send you, and I'm also going to put together a frequently asked questions on everything. And since there is a fewer people, um, I suggest we jump right into the questions because I'm sure there are questions, and then we can take it from there and the conversation will unfold. And hopefully you will, hi Dom,
Hello, Dom.
we will have all the info you need to know if this is the right course, the right retreat for you. Yes. So, Karen, I know that you're like dying to sign up anyways.
And Eva
Karen,
also, we are waiting. I just have
yeah,
one question left. You
yes.
already answered the others. After the retreat, do we have to make the exam in a certain time, or we have as much as we want, 1 year, 2 year, or
Yeah, so overall, maybe just to use that question as a dive into the general requirements, I think most people, if you were on my mailing list, already got a little bit of the gist and the understanding that what this is not. I always want to start out with what this is not. This is not a Pilates trainer teacher training where after a week of doing Pilates, you walk out a certified Pilates teacher. Um, so we always say it's the beginning. It's the beginning to deep dive, to learn the whole program in one go, as opposed to spread over several weeks or months, as it would be traditionally in a studio format. So after the retreat, you go out and practice just like you would do after your mat teacher training. And for the mat and reformer, you need to collect or do a minimum of 225 hours of training practice. So that is, uh, I think it's 40 hours of observation. I don't have all the numbers in my head. Well, we can look at it later. So Ola, do you know the numbers?
No, I was actually writing down what you say because like oh, it's good for me to know since it's a relatively new concept, a new course. I don't know the numbers just yet.
I'm sure I have it somewhere on an open tab. But a total of 225 hours, I think 90 hours of teaching, 90 hours of practice, and the rest is observation. Um,
Mhm.
so
But then, Marila, that would I'm sorry, that
mm,
would also include math and reformer
yes,
practice. So it's not just pure reformer, right? There's a lot of math repertoire that also needs to be practiced. So that
Exactly.
225 hours, you say it's like the minimum, right? But most of the
Exactly.
time people like to do more.
That's
Yes.
the both, the math and reformer. Sorry, my boyfriend just disturbed me. He was asking when I'm coming to eat. I said, I'm busy. And the thing what we do now at my hours now are also counting. I think you told me, yes, Morelli.
Yes, because you already completed the math course. On top of it, you completed it not long ago. So the hours you're already collecting for the math, of course, you can use them for the math and reformer because you're essentially repeating the math. So you already know the work. So the hours you're doing now can count towards that as well. Um, there is BASI doesn't have a strict cutoff date. It's not like you lose the participation of the course if you don't do your exam within a certain amount of time. It's more like the amount of time should be reasonable and make sense. Basically, if you have done the course 5 years ago, and then suddenly you reappear in BASI and you're like, I completed the course 5 years ago and now I want to do my exam, they might ask you some questions. They might want to know whether you've actually worked, practiced. But there is typically, we say, like, I would say for the math and reformer, between like a year and a year and a half is quite intense already. 2 years, it really depends what your situation is. Basically, how much time do you have to practice? Um, and with the practice, maybe the one most important thing I need to point out in this whole uh, big, great excitement about becoming a reformer teacher in a retreat format. After the retreat, you need to have access to a reformer to practice. Because we're not a studio, we don't provide the studio environment. People come internationally from all over the world to Portugal to our beautiful retreat venue. And then when you go back out, yeah, it's up to you to find yourself a situation where you can practice on a reformer. So most people don't happen to have a reformer at home. If you do, great. But you might have a Pilates studio that you have a good connection with. You might even have a BASI Pilates studio, which would be even better, but it's not required. You don't have to do your hours in a BASI studio or in a BASI environment. Even what you practice should be BASI, otherwise you won't pass your exam. Um, but yeah, if you have a friend who has a reformer, if you have a friend who has a reformer studio and lets you use it after hours or on weekends or rent studio space, all these are the options. But that is the one thing you really need to think of ahead of time before signing up for the course. At least as long as your plan is to go for the exam and pass the exam. If you are working already in a Pilates reformer environment and just want to do another training and dive a little bit deeper, maybe learn something about BASI Pilates, of course, that's also possible. That's a different situation. I don't know your name, iPhone AVH H.
Hi, Mareile. This is Alexandra. Thank you
Hi.
for hosting this session. I'm interested in joining one of your courses with a friend of mine.
Mhm.
And we are practicing Pilates since a couple of years. And so we wanted to do a retreat.
Mhm.
And maybe because I didn't got the recording or and I'm also on vacation right now, I didn't have the chance. So I thought I'd dial in and you maybe tell us a little bit about the retreats you're planning next year, the dates, how the agenda is, and also the friend of mine is currently working on her PhD. So we wanted specifically to know if there's some free time or if like every day is fully packed. So can you maybe tell us a little bit more about the retreats next year? And sorry if
Course.
that's already known to all of the
No.
others.
It's like I said, a lot of people have a background on how the math teacher training program works, but the math and reformer is all new. So I'm super happy to talk about it. Maybe I'll just share my screen and pull out some pictures from
Thank you.
venues. Um, let's start on my website where I don't have that the the reformer teacher training yet, but it will look very similar to the math teacher training um, system overall. So let me start with the venues. So we have all new venues in Portugal next year. So all the math and reformer courses will be happening in Portugal. We have 3 dates. The dates are here. There's Ola. Look at you. Um, and I will send everything to everybody after the call too. So this is just for you to get like a gist of things. You'll get all the details after. So we have the first course is in May 3rd to 10th, in a retreat venue that is called Monte das Casolas. And then we have one at the end of August and one late in November next year. And the second and the third one is in a different venue. So we have 2 different venues for next year. After that, it's always going to be the second one, Monte Sobradinho. So for those who are interested in the May course, this is how Monte Sobradinho looks like, Monte das Casolas. So it is near a town of Grandola. That's about an hour and a half from Lisbon. And it's by a train station, so you can either come by train or even you could even go by Bolt or Uber shared taxi. Portugal is affordable even for like an hour and a half drive. And it's a beautiful retreat venue that is completely in nature, and it has these modern wooden bungalows, a nice pool. Let me find the gallery here. So each bungalow unit, let me find it here, for example. So you have these bungalow units that have 3 rooms each. So we have 2 single rooms and 1 shared room. So 4 people are basically sharing one bungalow with a nice living room area, a terrace, a little kitchen even. Here you see a bit the overview. And then there's a different part where is the studio space. And I'll be bringing the reformers for that week. So this Casolas, I would kind of describe as a very beautiful nature-based, quintessentially Portuguese cork oaks, and it's about 20 minutes from the coast. So it's not that far from the coast, but it feels very much inland. The second venue, the one we'll be using after May for the next couple of years, is in the Algarve. So it's south of Portugal. There you don't fly into Lisbon, you would fly into Porto. Sorry, into Faro. Um, and that one has a completely different vibe. It's more like a boutique hotel, a big boutique hotel, a little bit more luxurious in feel. Let me find some pictures here. Um, it has an awesome heated pool, so that's why we want to use this place also in November. Um, Find some. So it has like indoor areas that are really generous and spacious. The rooms are very nice. Yeah, so very different feel, the 2 venues, but what's happening in each venue, this is my husband calling just at the right time. Let me quit. Where did we go? Yes. So the second venue has a very different feel to the first. Now I'm going to make it really difficult for everybody to choose. I know that's what happened last time. So maybe go back to the dates and just see what dates work for you best. Um, the program is exactly the same in both venues. So we have 6 full days of training, 7 nights. The first day you arrive, you sleep for a night. Let me find my website again. Here I have a sample day. And this is pretty much the same also for the math and reformer course. So we have a morning class, which will be a math class because we have not enough reformers for one per person. Typically, in a training format, you have a couple of people sharing one machine. In our case, we'll have 6 reformers for a maximum of 20 students, so about 3 people per reformer. And if we book out, then we have one reformer that has 4 people or 2. Um,
In any case, every teacher training has a math class included. So it's not the amount of reformers that you have, but it's always like this in every teacher training with BASI, that even if we train or teach the equipment part, we always have a math class included.
Yes. So we start in the morning with the mat class to get warmed up and do some Pilates and move. Then is breakfast. After breakfast, we have the morning lecture, so about 2 hours in the morning. Then we have a long 3-hour lunch break. This is for your PhD friend. I'll get to that. We always have a lunch break of about 3 hours for you to not only be able to absorb the work and the food, but also to have some time to get a bit of that retreat feeling, enjoy the pool, slow life down a little bit, take some time to just be, venture out into town and so on. So these 3 hours can be used for that. And then in the afternoon around 3:30, we go back into the studio and we have our afternoon practice, our teaching practice, exercise practice, and then dinner in the evening. Every day follows more or less that same structure. Um, the nice news for the faculty, Ola, and in general, for those who are maybe thinking of doing the same course in a studio setting, we are taking extra time. So the course itself, as per BASI Pilates, is 4 modules. So it can be actually taught in 4 days, but we are taking 6 days. That means we have 2 buffer days that we can kind of see what the needs of the group are. You might all be super eager to practice more, to do more teaching practice, then we can do that. You might need some extra reviews and deepening of anatomy or some of the lecture style background knowledge, then we can concentrate on that. We might have a group that is so quick and so switched on and so ready to just go through it all that we might say, you know what? We can give you half a day free and you can go to the beach. So these 2 buffer days are really there for us to have the possibility to adapt to what each retreat group, each retreat ecosystem, I like to say, really needs in that week. And also the extra time enables me as your retreat host, or Dom, who might be your retreat host, to add in a little bit extracurricular stuff like answering questions around the business of Pilates, what to do next. Hi, Dom. Um, so yeah, we have, I'm a Pilates teacher of 20 years. I'm also a BASI teacher, but not faculty. I have run and hosted retreats for 15 years. So there's always a whole bunch of questions that come up that are maybe not directly related to the course. And hopefully we'll have time to dive into absolutely everything you need. Um, And yes, if your friend needs to work at the same time, I want to answer that question with a little bit of a reality check. Because as per program, yes, I could say we have 3 hours every lunchtime, and she could, work. In reality, just thinking of what actually happens on retreat, is the program is still, even with the extra time, it's super intense. It's super intense, not only from the Pilates and the work and what you learn, but also being in this group environment of 18, 20 other people, having just the energies, the new things you learn, the time you want to spend. It's like you are so removed from your everyday life that depending on how she is, how her learning goes, she might find it really easy to extract herself and concentrate on learning and PhD. I get the question a lot about work, or I have a husband, can I meet him in my off time? Um, or not. So yeah, it depends on the individual. Ideally, I always want everybody to be fully immersed and fully focused in that activity that you spend so much money on. Um, but yeah, I hope that answers your question a little bit.
Thank you, Mareile. Yes, it does. And it's good that you also share like really your hands-on real experiences.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe one other question. So, how many teachers will there be? So, when you calculate around 18 to 20 participants, is it one teacher or are there multiple ones? So, what's the ratio of participants per teacher?
So, BASI Pilates traditionally and typically always just has one faculty teaching.
Mhm.
So I'm always, I have the same question than you. I'm like, can you handle that many people all attached?
That was my question, yes.
as we started to grow and became more popular, and now most retreats are selling out. I'm always amazed at you guys, how easy you handle a big group, what feels to us like a big group. But I know that you're also used to completely other scenarios with even larger groups. Um, the nice thing for the faculty is that they are your official teacher, but they have me or Dom, sometimes both of us, as Life in Movement retreat hosts, and we are also starting to take on assistants from our former trainings to help out, to learn more, to get more involved. Because yes, I agree with you. Um, there is that high standard of wanting everybody to be seen and heard and have their questions answered. Um, so on one hand, the faculty is doing an awesome job anyways. And Ola, maybe you can also attest to that, how that feels from the teacher's side, from me, from the observer's side. Every time I really feel like 20 people is actually not that difficult to handle, because we're not doing a fast-paced reformer session where there's 20 machines going. There is actually all these little moments, teaching moments, and all the faculty is really great in seeing everybody and everybody. Um, Ola, maybe you have your own take
Yeah,
on
I
this.
think I think if 20 people is a totally manageable group, and I oftentimes like the bigger groups because then we can work in smaller groups, switch people around, so you have the opportunity, because we will be teaching a lot and practicing a lot. So having bigger groups give you more opportunities to also practice with different people, meaning different bodies, so you can learn seeing different things, right? So there is a benefit of that bigger group as well. And then the fact that I have Mareile or Dom, they're both BASI certified as well. So there's always an extra pair of eyes or hands around as well, and they can also always answer the questions or assist with some other stuff. So No, I think this is actually really, really nice number.
Thank you. Thank you, Ola. Thank you, Mareile.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Can I just actually mention something about the work that from my experience, when I see with the groups, people always say, oh, I came with my laptop with intention, right? When I led to a work, but then they got so pulled into the work that they say, I didn't open a one email. And in a way, that was such a blessing, right? That they was so they always say it's just so nice not to be busy with other things. Just remove yourself from everything else and focus on the learning, on the experience. It's really it's a great thing. It's a luxury that we can do it. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Yes, we do want to remind ourselves that it's still like the word retreat is still in there. And then, of course, everybody interprets that differently, depending on what they have heard about a retreat or maybe attended a retreat. So maybe I can, before I answer your question, Steph, I can just quickly dive into what we mean by retreat. Um, because it is a professional teacher training course, so you will be spending most of your time in the studio. And no, we don't have extra time carved out specifically for free time, excursions, getting to see the country, or going shopping, or whatever it is. For some reason, that also ever always comes up a little bit less in Portugal than it comes up in Morocco. In Morocco, I think people think they're also on a holiday. So you're not on a holiday in Portugal. If you want to go on a holiday in Portugal, I highly recommend you take a few days before or after to actually see something of the country. It is a beautiful country. I lived there since 8 years. Um, but in the course time, there is not a lot of spare time. The spare time we give you is given on purpose for you to um, find that retreat aspect that is mostly meaning for me always retreating from your everyday life. Retreating, taking a break, taking a step away from even like going into a Pilates teacher training in a regular studio in the city. You take the subway, your bike, or your car to get there, to be there on time. You learn, maybe have a lunch break, then you learn, and then you run off and you go home to your life, to your laundry, to your dirty dishes, to whatever. So in the retreat version, your home is the retreat. The retreat is your home. um, you get cooked for 3 days, 3 times a day by the wonderful Fabrice, our cook. Um, you have wonderful conversations with people that you might have never met in life otherwise. Hi, Tash. Tash is our other amazing faculty. Um, and also, a retreat for me always means doing something together as a group, that connects us, that combines us, that makes us a community for that week, that little retreat community, little retreat pod ecosystem. You will hear much more about that in the week. But yeah. Hello, Tash.
Hello,
Well,
everyone. Hi, happy birthday
oh,
for
wow, by now it's 3 days
yesterday.
old, right? Um, Steph, you had a question.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you will be sending us the sign up links after that, like today.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, cool. And also, I also think my friend is interested in joining. I'm definitely joining. I don't know. I think she will. Um, but she wanted me to ask what the cost difference for, I guess, both locations would be for a single versus shared occupancy.
So I try to price all my retreats at the same price, regardless of location. So you can really just focus on which dates work for you, and you don't have to decide between venues or countries, at least not based on financial decisions. And the cost for the Mat and Reformer retreat, I have that here as well. There we go. Should be here. There we go. So this is the full price without any discounts or reductions. The 4,100 is for a single room in either of the two locations, and 3,900 is for a shared room in either of the two locations. Then we do have some discounts, some discount codes. We always have the early bird rate on all of our retreats, and also for the Reformer course. That is valid. So you get a €150 discount if you pay in full 4 months before the retreat start. So that is always an option, and that is, you don't even have to mention that I automatically give you that. If you sign up early, you get €150 off. This is interesting for you, Karen, and for anybody else who has done the Mat teacher training with us already. You are getting kind of a double discount code, because if you are signing up within the early bird rate within 4 months before the retreat start, you are getting the 150, and then you are getting an additional €500 discount on because you've already done the Mat course. So that is, and I'll explain it all. These are codes you can put in when you sign up, and then I'll give you the discount. And then later, we're not quite there yet, but if you missed the early bird deadline and you are one of our former students, you get €500 off. This is, by the way, already the link for the checkout, but I will send that after. Yes, so these are the prices, and the price includes pretty much everything other than your transportation. So it includes the full retreat, accommodation, food. It includes the full program, the course, the digital materials. So you get, in this format, you get all your manuals, your course materials in a digital form before the retreat starts. When you sign up, at some point you will pay the tuition part to BASI directly. I will point you in the right direction. And then you become a BASI student through their website, in their portal. They have their own student portal where you have access to all your resources, where you write in your hours that you've collected. And through that, you will also receive the training manuals, the course manuals. And this is also new as of next year. It's called the BASI Flex program, where essentially, maybe Tash, you can explain the Flex. Thank you.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I'm Tash. I'm in South Africa. I am South African, but yeah, I'm very excited and very honored to be part of the Life and Movement retreat organization, and to come back next year, I think twice, right?
Yes.
Anyway, we're up for it. So the Flex program is the BASI's new format, where you guys get your theory that is available to you 2 weeks prior to the start date of your course. It's all the lectures in short snippets that's available to you on your portal forever and ever, which is great. Prior to this, we did not have the online version. So students would be lectured by the faculty, and the work would just be explained to you, and you would be left off then afterwards to
Your paper manuals.
study by yourself, your paper manuals. Yeah. So they have gone digital. It's incredible. You can obviously revise and revise and revise, and everyone is different. We all learn in different ways and in our own timing. But you can also then obviously start a few weeks prior to the start date of your course and familiarize yourself with the terminology that we will be revising on the retreat with you anyway. And then what we do in the presence of the retreat environment or from the Flex perspective is we actually spend more time on teaching the exercises to you because it is so complex and we place such high value on the standard of the BASI work that we now have the opportunity to integrate this practical method to the students in a deeper way, which is amazing. So that's the Flex program. Just on a personal note of teaching this course in a retreat environment, yes, the Reformer is the first of its kind. The Reformer retreat is the first of its kind. And from doing the MAC courses previously in the retreat environment, the quality and the level of the students that I feel we get out of the retreat setting is just so much. It's just so much more ingrained into the students because we literally have the opportunity to eat, breathe, and sleep Pilates. From doing a class in the morning to going to breakfast, we can get to talk about the terminology, the neutral pelvis, the breathing, discussion around a relaxed environment where people, students are not afraid to ask the questions because it's repetition, repetition, repetition. So it's just an incredible environment if it works for you to be exposed to learn this work, and also the community aspect that has been created in this retreat environment that you guys all get to be a part of. There is the BASI community, which is incredible and it's global, but then there's also the life and movement community, which is a very active, I want to say, day-to-day community that I see Ola is smiling because she's sitting in the Netherlands, unless you're traveling, and I'm sitting in South Africa, but we get to experience this unity that Marali and her team and her hard work and the students, you guys, have established over the years. So I don't think anyone ever feels left out. And if they do, it's because they're not plugging in. I mean, even yesterday, someone asked a question about, I don't even remember now, but I saw the question early when I woke up at 4:20 in the morning. I was like, yes, this is the question. Here's the answer. So yeah, I mean, that's just really, it's all available to you guys, which is amazing.
Thank you, Tash, for that little speech. Meanwhile, I had an opportunity to find the link for the sign up. You will get it sent after anyways, but if you want to copy it from here, you can already. Yes, there is a question. Maria? No, maybe the question got answered.
Oh, sorry, I was talking with my microphone off. But I'm Maria, I'm Portuguese, so sorry if my English is a little nah. I have some questions mostly about the time after the retreat, the hours and stuff. So how do you how we there will be monitorized the hours that we do like practice? How do we have like a platform or something to submit the hours or something like this?
Yes, so you will be a student of the BASI student portal online, and there you have the course will appear, and there you have a section where you can write in your hours, make your notes, what you did, where you did it, what day you did it, how many hours. However, what's really important for you to know is that the whole collection of the hours, your practice time, is a self accountability system. There is nobody that will double check, cross reference, ask you about it. You don't need to have your hours signed off by anybody. Why? Because if you collect your hours, your practice hours, and you bother writing it down, that means you're actually practicing towards doing your exam at the end. As we said earlier, after the course, after the week, you have completed the course material, but you don't have a certificate to be a BASI teacher yet. For this, you need to first put in the work, do your hours, and then once you feel ready to do your practical exam, then you apply to do your exam. I'll talk about it in a minute how that works. And for that, if you haven't done your hours for real, it will show. And that's why during the collection of your hours, you don't need to have anybody sign that off. It's really up to you to find your way of how you can practice the BASI work in your life at your timing in your environment, so you can test out. And the exams by now are getting also easier and easier overall, logistically. It used to be that you could only do the exam in the studio where you did the course, which, of course, since we don't have a studio, was always a little bit tricky. There still is the possibility of doing the practical exam in person in a BASI studio that offers it. There's many BASI host studios and academies throughout the world. Once you're at that level, so again, think first the retreat, first the course, then the practice, and maybe a year after, 2 years after, you feel like you are ready to do your exam. That's when you start looking and thinking, where can I do my exam? And if you cannot do it in person because there's no studio or you don't want to do it in person, by now through the US, they offer a really good system of doing the exam also online through Zoom, even through recordings now for the reformer work. So again, there's many options of doing your exam. We want you to succeed. We want you to have all the options in the whole wide world to to find a way to do your practical exam to then be that BASI teacher that you're trained to be.
Okay, perfect. I just have one more question.
Yes.
We also have like hours that we need to, so teaching hours, right?
Mhm.
And I have a question. My question is, so we receive like an adapted like certificate or something, so we can teach classes, but not oh, like not the final certificate, but an adapt one, so we can teach classes and have that teaching hours.
So I'm speaking from, I would say now, a sense of reality in the Pilates world, especially in Portugal. Um, Unfortunately, we are in a time where we work in an industry where very few people actually ask for that exam. There's a lot of uncertified trainers around. Um, you so what you don't have, what you don't receive is some official printout paper that says you're now a BASI teacher in training. But what some students have done is they have either shown the person the student portal, they have shown the legitimacy of you having done the training. BASI is a very known and acknowledged Pilates education school. So anybody who knows a little bit about Pilates will know and understand what you mean when you say, I've done my course and now I'm doing my practice time. I'm a Pilates teacher in training. I'm working towards passing my exam. That is very standard in the Pilates industry, just like in any other industry where you first study and then you get your work practice and eventually you have your license to actually work. So it kind of works like this. We are always there to help, to talk to people, to find ways to get you, legitimately acknowledged. And then, of course, there's also country regulations. It always depends where you work, what they want to see from you. Do they need a national sports certificate license, which of course BASI doesn't give you. do they just want you to be a good teacher, which is most likely if you work in a Pilates school, Pilates studio environment, somebody should always ask you to teach a class, a practice class, and then chances are they might or might not want to see your actual certificate, because we need to trust the teachers that work with our clients that they are doing the right thing. And just having a piece of paper, for me in my world, has never shown me anything. Somebody can show me 5 Pilates education certificates. If I don't see them teach, I'm not gonna hire them. So yeah, it depends a little bit where you're planning to work. But in general, saying I'm a Pilates teacher in training, done the course, I'm working towards my certification is totally acceptable.
Okay, perfect. Got it. Thank you so much. You answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Steph.
Sorry, one more stupid question that doesn't really matter, but just from a meal perspective, I obviously assume that dietary requirements are workable, but is this a retreat where like all the meals are vegan or something like that, or how does that work?
The 3 of us, I see 3 faces on the Zoom who all know Fabrice's cooking. We're all like, yes. So Fabrice is the retreat chef that I've been working with for 3 years now in our old venue, and I'm actually taking him to the 2 new venues. That's how good he is. By principle, the food is vegetarian, always for the week. And then he caters for whatever dietary needs, not preferences. If somebody doesn't like apples, well, but dietary needs for sure. So vegan, gluten-free, lactose intolerant, no eggs, all this is no problem at all. And yeah, that's the main thing for what we've had in the past. Sometimes there was this time of the I want to call it the protein craze, where people were very focused on getting enough proteins in during a vegetarian week. So then we paid a little bit more attention to that. I always advise anybody who's on their own special diet to bring whatever supplements, snacks, extras you need. But overall, the food is amazing. I think I can
Amazing.
say that hands down.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Do we have any other questions? I think we've gone through the venue, we've gone through the Flex program. We have a mix of single and shared rooms. The first venue in May, the one more in nature, has a lot of single rooms. We have half rooms that can be single. So I have 20 single rooms, which is awesome. The second venue starting in August, again, we're going back to the same old issue we always have of just a few single rooms and they sell out quickly. So for Monte Sobradinho, the August and November trainings, we only have 4 single rooms. All the others are shared just because that's the limitation of the space we have. That said, the shared rooms are really generous and big and spacious, so it's not like it's actually not going to be a problem, I think. I hope. Yeah. Uh, what else? Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Karen, you're coming with Eva, which is exciting. I can't wait to have you back.
I
Yeah.
can't wait either. It was
I
the
will.
best thing ever.
Yes, thank you. I will, well, I've shared the link here in the chat. This link brings you to just a sign up link for the deposit. It's a payment link. It's a non-refundable deposit of 500 euros that secures your spot. And then after that, in due time, my next step is to really now work everything out in writing, not just in a Zoom call that you can record or rewatch, but actually to build the page. And until then, of course, I'm available for questions if you need to need more thinking time, have questions about payment plans, sign up deadlines, all this stuff in general. All our retreats now fill up, so that we usually always have a waiting list, but I did put on a lot of retreats for next year. So hopefully there'll be less of a waiting list and more space for everybody. And the best, yeah, what I can recommend always is to sign up early, and then even if you just saying I want to come, I'll make a note. If spaces get tight, I'll usually send around a roundup email collecting everybody who has expressed serious interest. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm sure more questions will arrive in my inbox, always the same. But for now, I hope, yeah, I hope to see you all at some point next year. And thanks for your questions. Thanks for coming. And have a good evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much.
You
Bye.
I'm gonna book
Thank
now.
you.
Bye.